Hey folks, my name's Kevin and it's time for a little bit more knife nerdery. I want to make a quick video today explaining why I personally really like when a knife that is middle finger flickable also has a finger choil. I'm going to be using the Giant Mouse Ace Riv and the Benchmade Mini Griptilian with a sheep's foot blade because they're about the same size. I use them for about the same purposes. I hold them in about the same way, and one has a finger choil and the other one doesn't. We're going to see what impact that has on how I operate the knife. Now these are both knives that I use primarily in either a saber grip, meaning that the knife is flat against my palm, my fingers are wrapped around, my thumb's up on the spine. This is going to be for like opening an envelope or pushing through cardboard on recycling day, or in a pinch grip, where I have the index finger and the thumb pinching the front, or my middle finger and my thumb pinching the front, and my index finger up on the spine of the blade. And that's going to be for opening a box or doing utility cuts on a flat surface. Now, if these are the two primary ways I'm going to grip the knife, it's worth considering how do I get the knife into this position when I'm opening it, and what impact the design of the knife has on that process. So these are middle finger flickers. So there's two main ways that people tend to hold a knife when they're doing a middle finger flick, and they change how the blade and the knife in general is oriented in your hand when you're done. I should preface by saying that everyone flicks slightly different, everyone's hands are slightly different. These are the two ways that I see the most often and that I find the most effective. The first is to kind of pinch the top of the knife with your middle finger, your index finger and your thumb, anchor the knife against the back of your hand here, stick the corner of your middle finger in, and flick out. And if you look at what position this leaves the knife in, I'm effectively already in a pinch grip. I just need to wrap my hand around and I'm done. If I want to be in the other pinch grip with my index finger along the spine of the blade, I just trade off which finger's back here and move my finger up. But the orientation of the knife handle compared to my hand is already there. But if I wanted to end up with a saber grip, from here, I would have to do a fair amount of movement. I have to rotate the blade in this direction and move it up in order to get down here. And that's a lot of room for error if you're trying to do something quickly from muscle memory. So that brings us to the other way that people typically flick. Instead of pinching it like this, they'll often leave the knife flat against their palm, anchor it with their thumb between the base down here on your palm again, but this time the front along this more middle or back section of your index finger, and the thumb down here pushing in downward. You then stick the middle of your your middle finger into this spidey hole here and flick out. And this leaves the knife in way closer to the saber grind position. But there's a problem here. Did you notice it? If I hold it like this and flick out, look where my finger ends up. Right next to the blade. Which means if you do just try and wrap your hand around, you're going to be grabbing into the knife. In fact, I've done that exact same thing with this knife. I flicked it out like that one time, had a slightly too loose of a grip. It started to slip out of my hand, and because I didn't want it to fall on my foot, I ended up just kind of instinctively wrapping my hand around and trying to grab the knife to catch it, and just slicing right into my finger there. This is where the finger choil comes in. With a knife with a finger choil, if you do that first grip, here like that, pinch grip, good to go, easy, nothing's different. But if you do that second grip, flick out, look at that. This is where the finger choil is, and my finger can just wrap right down. And so I find that if I have a knife that I'm going to be middle finger flicking out, if I know I'm going to be doing in one grip and the other in the end, I tend to flick in one way or the other to get the knife into that position so I'm ready to cut quicker. And with a knife with a finger choil, I can just wrap my hand around and go. And it's true of basically everyone that I have like that. So this is another one. Slightly less of a finger choil. Good to go. Okay. Finger choil. Good to go. Even one with this isn't a spidey hole. This is a groove. But flick it out. Fingers right there, right into the choil. Good to go. And so for me, I find that it's both physically safer, because I'm less likely to wrap my fingers around into that blade, but it also is just a faster way of getting the knife into the kind of grip that I wanted to in the first place. And it's all because that finger choil means that I can just flick it open and then wrap my hand around. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day.